I had between the two of you on the lawn, and how much we sort of worked over that scene to unite the two of you, and to you're always on the opposite side of this fence from each other, but there's always that inherent understanding.
Yeah, we talked a lot about them being allies in any other situation, that these two women were, there is a connection between the two of them that you see from the moment they meet in the 60s episode, and you follow it till the end of the at the end of the show. And that was just always important to remember. I mean, also even in the pregnancy, that she actually trusts her enough to deliver her children. So as much as she's afraid of the other inside the bubble, these women inherently feel connected um, and like they're and like allies to one another. But yes, we did do a lot of. I honestly, Jack, I just can't remember anything after we done that.
I just wanted to say one thing, just as about Tiana Paris. This is Matt again. What an extraordinary actress she is. I mean, and just like Lizzie, just like Paul, just like Catherine Hahn, we asked so much of them to be able to go back and forth between these sitcom tones and real dramatic acting, and all of them were able to sort of put their finger on truth and authenticity brilliantly, and we're also fearless, and we're able to go to these incredibly broad and funny places and then turn on a dime into something that would break your heart. And that they were asked so much physically, in terms of doing all this MCU stuff on wires and flying around, and it is just unbelievable for me to imagine finding one actor like that, and yet we had an ensemble full of actors like that, just kind of tonal masters and like able to just kind of get to truth. And Randall also would be able to do all of this if we ever got him on a wire and flew him around. But it just was just like such a pleasure to be a part of a company, and also all of those people, lovely, lovely souls. And to be able to work with people who are kind and also brilliant, that's a dream. That just makes everything wonderful for everybody.
Yeah, I got to echo that. Like from the top down, everyone was so nice, and I had always heard that a show like when in a show when the cast and crew are all nice people, it kind of guarantees that it will not be a hit. Like there has to be at least one bad apple, but this is just like not the case. Everyone was just so lovely and kind and fun to work with, and it became a hit. And for me, it just kind of proves, yeah, no, you could have a joyful experience throughout, and make an incredible product that resonates with people, which was very affirming for me.
And now, as we sort of wrap up, we have several more fan questions that we want to get to. And the first one I want to start with is from, I think, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this, but at Yonsei Aurora. For Lizzie, did you have any part in I think she means designing or inputting ideas with the new Scarlet Witch suit? And what was your reaction to seeing it for the first time?
The new suit, I think, I don't think I had too much input. I think at some point there was like a really mini cape, and now there's a long cape. But I don't know. That's kind of above my pay grade. But obviously we're all, Matt's a part of this conversation, and then the next director who inherits this costume is part of that conversation. But it's really the costume designer's collaboration with the company that builds these costumes for Marvel.
And the second part of that question, though, was also, what was your reaction when you saw the new suit for the first time?
Well, I think I loved it. I think I felt I was worried about ever wearing a headband, the headband first off, because that was one of Joss Whedon's things that he told me I was going to have to do, and it ended up I'm like now really in love with this headband because it actually has meaning as opposed to it just being a costume piece. Jack gave it meaning.
Yeah.
And we reinvented this this mythic story behind what it meant to be the Scarlet Witch. And so now I get to carry that with me into the next film, and I'm really happy that we like solidified what that actually means in this universe.
This is Matt jumping in. I remember when Lizzie put on the suit for the first time, and we were out at the pop-up base, in this field, not the place where you would imagine doing a costume fitting. We had to smuggle her in there in a cape and everything, so no one would see this top secret thing. And I just remember being blown away. And also, but you're talking about a collaboration. Lizzie was very clear about, like, I can't move in certain ways the way I need to with this suit, the way it's constructed. And so we worked together to make it work for the character and for the aesthetic and all of that, but we also needed it to be practical, to work for filmmaking. And so Lizzie was able to guide us in how we could make it be better. And I do remember the crown, because we were worried about the crown. We were timid, and the earliest designs, it was very faint, it was very small. We thought maybe it would only be made of magic. And eventually we were like, this is the Scarlet Witch, like, go big or go home. And it just we made it as big as it needed it to be, and it's fabulous, and Lizzie pulls it off and makes it awesome.
It is awesome. And it was so cool seeing that and building to the end of this, where like she comes into her power and she gets the name. Like she is now, as Catherine Hahn says, you are the Scarlet Witch. Second fan question we have from Twitter is from @RegStacks. And this is for Paul Bettany. They want to know, what was the hardest emotional transition you've had to make while embodying the different versions of Vision? I assume he means over the course of the MCU, but there's more than one incarnation of Vision in WandaVision specifically, of course.
Oh, well, I have two answers to that. One was playing opposite myself was really tricky. I couldn't learn the scene initially because I was trying to learn it as one thing, and then I realized I had to learn it as two characters. So that was very peculiar, and I've never had to do it, and I doubt I'll ever have to do it again. But also the saying goodbye to Lizzie scene. Jack and I talked a lot about it. She was worried that there was some flaw in the scene, and I didn't think there was, and it went back and forth with Kevin Feige and Matt, and we all talked it through. And then I realized the sort of the culmination for me of Red Vision in this show was Pinocchio. Was I'm a real boy now, and there was a real opportunity to have this famous 70s panel of Vision crying, and it says even an android can cry, and he's got a tear coming down his cheek, and sort of we talked about it, and everybody sort of agreed that would be a lovely ending for Vision. But I found the whole thing peculiarly and embarrassingly emotional, ending that. So I guess for me that was it.
It was so great. If this is Jack jumping in, when Paul